one is probably one of the first poems I ever wrote before I had husband or many boyfriend, I think. It's actually about my ex and most of his bad habits and my longing not really to have them. Fairytale. And thank you for listening. Fairytale. If I was my boyfriend, I would not forget my birthday or how to use a knife and fork. If I was my boyfriend, I would not get drunk and eat all of the cheese, or pretend to be asleep while mice march to the kitchen looking at the bits of cheese that just happen to be lying around. If I was my boyfriend, I would definitely treat me like a princess, unless, of course, I needed to feel independent like a modern girl should. If I was my boyfriend, I would eat fire, move mountains, write operas, swim the channel, change the world, and serenade me from under my window while I plaited my hair in a strong, thick rope for me to climb.
Hello. I am Helen Ivory's boyfriend. Forget her birthday, chance would be a fine thing. I am Helen Ivory's boyfriend. Yes, I ate all the cheese. She is going through a non-dairy fad, so who else is going to eat it? I pointed this out, and apparently it's a metaphor, and if I need to ask what for, then there is no point in telling me. I am Helen Ivory's boyfriend. I would eat fire, but I am busy with the cheese. I could swim the channel, but the weight of expectation might well drown me. I am Helen Ivory's boyfriend, and I'll serenade her from under her window just as soon as I have finished all the other jobs. I am Helen Ivory's boyfriend. I would rescue her if she plaited her hair into a strong, thick rope, but her hair is a law unto itself. This is both true and a metaphor. I should point out Helen's had a haircut. She punches that poem up and another one later on. But before Helen, I was married to someone else, and I was very bad at writing love poems. But I come to a point in time when you really have to get around to it. It's called Married. It's been 20 years, so I suppose I should write you a love poem. Well, you're still here, and so am I, which is more than most. There. I have written you a love poem. I've got 16, but we'll see if we've got time. I'd just like to sort of do something early that makes because we're all quite old, but there's always some young people in a poetry audience. You often feel uncomfortable, especially love poems and about sex from middle-aged people. And there's people over 40 in the room who are probably still sexually active. Maybe this young couple here will want to think about that. I'll just move a bit closer. So I'm 54 and still sexually active. And this poem is about that. And it's a kind of praise poem. Because there's a lot of sort of female poets, African Caribbean poets, who sort of read about their love lives and about celebrating their bodies and all of that and their juices. And I thought it was quite a comparison between them and middle-aged men. So I sort of, in the spirit of that, I've written this kind of poem called Still. Tell me, who's to say what beautiful is? Who's to say what beautiful is when I've come this distance? 50 years putting flesh on these bones, putting flesh on these bones like wisdom. And who's to say I shouldn't dance when this baby just loves to dance, loves to let this midriff sway and flow until my shirt becomes an ocean, until my heat soaks it through, until it clings, and let it shine in the disco lights, let it shine blue and gold. And who's to say I shouldn't love And who's to say I shouldn't love? So give me, Lord, someone to hold. And gone are the days when we must grope in the darkness. Gone in the days when we must grope in the darkness. Leave the lights on, leave the lights on, and look and sing voluptuous, baby, voluptuous. And then we'll touch and kiss and touch and heave ourselves together. And no one's going to stop us doing what we want to. No one's going to stop us doing what we want to. We'll keep this flesh moving. We'll keep this flesh moving. And when we finish doing what we want to, this flesh will keep moving still. This flesh will keep moving still. Thank you. So, I'm going to let the audience decide. We can have a breakup poem or a sestina about a gate-crashed wedding. Gate-crashed wedding. A sestina now, you're going to test mine. I've only ever written 2 sestinas, this one. And this is for a friend Laura, who was really upset because she wasn't invited to her posh cousin's wedding. And knowing Laura, and this is kind of, well, my guess as to why. Had she been forgotten or ignored? Either way, the resentment deepened with each free drink, pinking her cheek to the point that when the best man clinked his glass at Pamela's behest and the hubbub in the room died down, discretion was out of the question. Laura's presence was undeniable as Laura's laughter began to explore the echoing way sound can fill a whole ballroom. Down to earth is one way of describing it, drink fueled another. Either way, Pamela was suddenly reminded of how, when, back in June, she drew up the guest list when tough decisions had to be made, Laura came easily to mind, and why now Pamela watched aghast as Laura made her way unsteadily towards her, a spilling drink in her outstretched hand like a down payment on a cleaning bill, bearing down on her white satin day. And just when it couldn't get worse, Laura began to sing, drink, drink, drink in slurred German. And then Laura felt unwell and one of her white stilettos gave way as she reached for a table that wasn't there. Pamela felt the whole room lurch to compensate, and as Pamela's mouth opened to complain, the bride from the cake shot down her throat and she began to choke in a most dramatic way as the string quartet tumbled past playing Stockhausen badly when it was the Heimlich manoeuvre she really needed. Meanwhile, Laura toasted chairs, guest tables, waiters, cutlery, the groom with her drink as they piled into the bottom corner of the room. Her drink that was the only drink not spilt, her drink that might save Pamela from death by asphyxiation on her wedding day, the drink Laura considered sacrificing for a second but was thirsty, so down it went in one swift gulp. And this was when she began to sing again and launched into My Way, sentimental from drink. Mascara tears ran down her cheeks as Pamela's face turned blue. And when Laura sang regrets she'd had a few, Pamela took the final byway.